I've had the RG35xx for about a little over a year now, and I've thoroughly enjoyed having this thing. If you are still thinking about getting one of these in the year of 2024, the year of our Lord, then this video is for you. Welcome to another review by L the Gamer. So just in case, for those of you who don't know, the RG35xx is Anbernic with these crazy names, is a retro handheld, basically styled to look like the original GBA, right? And what it does, it plays games from the NES all the way up to the PS1, and then a couple other like arcade and other systems like the Pico and whatnot in between. The system was released in October of 2022, I believe. I bought mine in January of 2023, so that's how long I've had it. So when it came out, I believe it was probably about $50 or so. And I bought mine on Amazon for $80. Now you're like, why would you pay $30 more? Well, there's a couple of reasons, right? With the shipping and the shipping time and all that from their website, it would take about the same time or longer and cost me about the same, the extra $30 to get it quickly. So I wound up just getting it for Amazon because A, it would get to me quicker. I got it in like 24 hours. And B, I would get a return if I had any problems, and problems I did have. So my first one, when I got it, I'd say after about a month, it died on me. Like it just stopped powering up, stopped working at all. So I made a complaint or just sent a message to the vendor, on Amazon, and they just sent me a replacement. They didn't ask for the old one back. They didn't ask for video proof or anything like that. They just sent me a replacement. And the beauty of that too is at the time they had just upgraded. When I say they, I mean Anbernic had upgraded the battery on the 35xx to be bigger. So on the unit I got, the battery was the bigger, longer lasting battery. As you can see in the examples I'm going to show here, you can see the battery is physically bigger. So that was the main reason why I got it on Amazon, for just in case something like this happened, I was able to get an easy exchange or at least get my money back pretty quickly. And it was definitely worth that. Now, as far as use case goes, I think it's pretty obvious with this thing, but I use it pretty much everywhere. I took it on vacation with me when I went to Mexico. I took it with me when I went to San Diego for a trip back home to my home city, just out and about in the living room, things of that nature. Just you can just play it everywhere. And I think the thing I like the most about it is not an internet dependent connected device. You can use it anywhere. We had a storm here a couple of times in the DFW area, knocked my power out, and with no power also means no internet. So a lot of stuff I couldn't really play, but this thing worked like a champion and pretty much got me through, got me a gaming fix while I was out of power in my place. And I've also taken it to work, played it on lunch breaks, things of that nature, on jobs where I knew I'd be sitting around doing nothing for a while, needed to waste some time. But other than that, man, there really is nothing super special outside of it. I think what I've done most is played a bunch of GBA games and some PS1 games. So you might say, why GBA? Well, you know, I think I say this in my videos. I'm 45 years old. I know I look good, but during the time the GBA came out, it was like right when I was, married and had young children, and I just didn't have time to game like I used to. And I kind of missed that whole era. So this made it so I can go back and play a lot of the GBA games I either started and didn't get a chance to finish, such as, Final Fantasy Tactics, and then some other games I wasn't able to really get to at all, like some of the Castlevania games. I finished all of the Metroid games on there. So it's been a godsend is probably too strong of a word, but it's definitely been useful, and I've really enjoyed it. So out of the box, it had, I guess, their stock OS on it when I first got it. I believe now it actually comes with Garlic OS, but when I got it, it had the original OS, and you had to flash Garlic onto it to make it useful. Now, not useful is probably too strong of a word, but I didn't really like the original experience, so I definitely upgraded to Garlic OS. Plus, it came with a memory card that had a bunch of games on it, and although there was a big selection, a lot of them were out of order, not in English, didn't work correctly, misnamed, all kinds of stuff. So I basically just downloaded and loaded up my own library of games I actually wanted to play, and it was a much more enjoyable experience. And Garlic OS has been definitely better. I know there's other stuff like Batusera, I think it's called. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. That's supposed to make it so you can maybe get away with playing N64 on this, but this handheld's not not really built for that. If you want to play N64, Dreamcast, stuff like this, I would suggest you get the newer one, the 35xx, which stands for horizontal, or there's even a 35xx SP, which I think is like a clamshell flip that resembles a GBA SP. I would think you'd be better off getting one of those if you like that form factor or something better. Plus, the 35xx that is horizontal also has 2 analog thumbsticks, so you can play those 3D games much easier. But I would definitely recommend, if you happen to not get one that does not flash the Garlic OS, you definitely want to go ahead and do that. So now we get on to the pros, right? Pros and cons section. So the pros are that it's pretty cheap and pretty affordable. It doesn't really cost that much. And for what you're getting, you actually get a lot. The build quality is surprisingly good. I got, as you can see, the atomic purple one. I really like the color. I really like the texture. Your buttons are nice and clicky, nice and solid. I don't really love the triggers on the back, but I don't really play too many games that have triggers on the back, so I'm not really worried about that. And the battery life is, pretty good, especially since I got the one with the elongated battery. Onto the cons. I think the only real con on this bad boy is probably that thumb pad. So I'm sure anybody who's somewhat familiar with this thing, or if you just go and look at it for yourself, there's an issue, with the thumb pad where basically if you hit up or down and you rock your finger back and forth, it'll move left and right. Meaning if you don't hit that up or down arrow perfect, and same thing for right and left, you hit right or left, it might go up. So if you don't hit it perfectly, then it may trigger 2 responses instead of just 1. There are fixes for that. There's plenty of videos you can watch where people will put like a little sticker or use electric tape or whatever to cover up the contacts and make it so the connections are more clear. But I myself, I think I just kind of got used to it and adjusted to it, and it just hasn't been a problem for me, at least for the games that I play. There may be some games where that's just it's just impossible to work around that, but I haven't really had a problem with it. So that was the only real con for me is, like I said, the triggers. Don't love the triggers, but use them if I have to. And that's not really that they're bad quality or anything. I just don't really like the triggers and the placement. Definitely would rather have shoulder buttons. And like I said, to repeat all that again, I didn't love the thumb pad, but I got used to it. And that's up to you to decide if you can get used to it and figure out, you call it user error, skill issue, or you can just go ahead and open it up and put one of those fixes in it and you're good to go. So in conclusion, is it worth it? I kind of hate that saying. You'll probably hear me say that a lot. Worth it? It being what? The price, I suppose. Yeah, it was definitely worth the price. Like I said, after a year plus use, it's got a couple scratches on the screen, but it's still going strong, still works perfectly fine, still charges. I still find new games to play. It was definitely worth it. I know there's a newer version that has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and whatnot added in. I prefer not have the newer one and have it be something that's low tech, easy to use. It does require a little bit of forethought because you got to put the ROMs, can't say the R word, put the games on it that you want ahead of time. You won't be able to just straight up download them directly to the device because no Wi-Fi. But I just prefer a non-connected, easy, low-tech, if you will, device that I can just pick up and play fairly easily. Like I said, it's not really going to be a super techy review, and most of my reviews won't be. They'll be more like how it is to actually use the thing and how it has been for me using it, and in this case for over a year. It's strange to me that sometimes people, you do a review, and I guess you just do the best you can of a device as soon as it releases. There's no way to really tell, which is why a lot of people do go back and re-review things. So this is going to be one where I'll just review this after having a year of having it and see what you guys like, and hopefully I convince a couple of you guys to buy it. Also, it's been just a reliable companion. I've dropped it a few times and it's still going strong. And like I said, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. And maybe this will help you decide if you're on the fence of buying one, or if you already have it, just kind of make you feel better about your purchase. With that being said, LW the Gamer out. I'll see you in the next review.